Hello everyone. Um, Sora here, back again with Kingdom Hearts 3. So I did, I did a stream of this, like literally the first time ever booting it up. I didn't even care about, I went back and rewatched it. So, if you watch that video, I don't know if you might notice, but, the game audio plays twice. That's because I cranked the audio all the way up. And only after maybe 2 hours did I think to notice, oh shit, the game audio might be picking up on the microphone as well as the game audio already being recorded internally through the PS4. By which point it was too late, and I just thought, no, fuck it. I was just so excited and I just wanted to hear it, and so I cranked the game volume really, really high. But yeah, so Kingdom Hearts 3 was never meant to be a Let's Play series or whatever thing that I was planning on doing while on the channel. It was just a thing that I wanted to record, like my first session with it, and then the rest of it was supposed to be not like recorded at all. But I thought maybe I put a bit of time in here, so I thought maybe I could post another Kingdom Hearts 3 video. So I've been playing it for like the past, how many days has it been? 3 days? I got through all of these worlds so far, so like none of the worlds I feel are spoilers. They were all revealed through trailers or whatever. But yeah, so I got through about half of these worlds already, half of the world before I head over to Aeronaut. So this isn't going to be a very long stream. It's just like, what do I think about the game so far, pretty much. And that is that it's really good. I like these, by the way. Awkward time to find out. This little Instagram post they have in between the loading screens. So for 0.2 it was like main menu tips and whatnot, which was cool. I like that, but I think these are far more charming. It's really funny, and it's a way for you to recap into the Instagram posts are also specific to whatever world you're about to jump into, or based on where you are now in the story. That way, when you're about to walk into the game, or whenever you're about to boot up the game, you kind of get like a sort of a summary as to what you're walking into. Okay, that's it. Oh, and I was gonna go. Oh yeah, I guess we can do some of these while I give my thoughts on these. So first things first, I like the little quality of life features. By the way, before I even get into it, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. This video is just to give my thoughts of the game so far. Clearly, I'm not finished with it yet, and if this video does get any comments, I'm not reading any of it. But just thoughts that I had while playing the game. Other than the fact that it looks really, really good, I like the little quality of life features that they added to it. I like the bonus content they have. One thing that I truly I appreciate is this, which I don't know if you noticed, but I have it set all the way down to the volume loud, and it's never had a volume setting on it. I'll keep it at 1 just so that I can keep myself sane, because this is still pretty loud to me. But yeah, I appreciate that it's got a volume feature now. I don't know if anyone noticed, but like whenever I was streaming Kingdom Hearts beforehand, let me look that up. I was gonna say Final Fantasy 15, but actually Final Fantasy 15's main menu is more like the old Kingdom Hearts. Nope, I'm not thinking of Final Fantasy X at all. I'm thinking of something else that this menu reminds me of. But it's definitely a Final Fantasy game. fucking Final Fantasy 13. Okay, yeah, I just googled it. I was like, what could I possibly be thinking about? Yeah, the menu it looks like Final Fantasy 13's menu. Which, if I was gonna give any credit to Final Fantasy 13, is that it looks nice. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert on Final Fantasy 13 because I never really played it, but I agree that it looks nice. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I know that it looks good. The fact that instead of picking keyblades for your drive forms, you just straight up just have 3 keyblades on. It's really... Oh, I have an extra slot for a potion. The fact that you don't ever have to worry about party management because they'll just put people in, like, Goofy and Donald never have to leave your party. The fact that in idle areas like this, you can just go up and talk to the characters, and...
Remember, you're always welcome at Monsters Incorporated.
They're fully voice acted, which is really nice. And if you run away from them, they'll just stop from the idle animation and start talking to you. I like how big and expansive these areas are. I like that the movement doesn't feel what am I thinking of? It was an issue I had with It was an issue I had with 0.2 actually. That the movement felt a little bit like your characters were moving a bit too fast for the animation that it was playing. I don't know how else to describe it, but Aqua just felt like she moved way faster than her animation would logically allow her to. I also enjoy that the Keyblade transformations are specific to each Keyblade, and if you end up moving away from it, like, so I activated the hammer on this side, but I switched out my Keyblade, it retains that charge for it. Oh my god, baby, this was a mistake. Whoa! Oh, there you go, my little Koopa coin. Maybe this now. Oh god, wow, that's really strong actually. Oh god. Oh, and I'm skating around like I'm in wisdom form. But you can see, like, I just switched out to the Monsters Inc. Keyblade, and I can still go back to the hammer because I still have a bit of a charge on it, and I still have this. But I can just switch out of those whenever I want to. Going back to the UI. I like this little cooking minigame that they have, where if you go to the Ratatouille Bistro, you get an increase in, like, stats, and it even tells you what bonuses you have active by hitting the triangle button. It tells you if you eat a meal, like in every course or whatever, and it even gives you a duration for it. There's a Koopa coin. I only bought it because I thought I needed it, but those are for people who are like, it's basically a magic fairy, like in Legend of Zelda. Stats are pretty much the same as it was before. It's just that the characters are in 3D now. The gummy phone now acts as your Jiminy's journal, as well as literally everything. These hidden Mickey things are also really charming. It's very Disney. It's a very Disney thing to do, to just, hey, look, there's Mickey Mouses here, and I am actually kind of not baffled, but I'm surprised that it like took them this long to implement it. I guess that's because the old games didn't really have a way for you to take photos. Speaking of which, photos are just always available right here on the touchpad button or whatever.
Picture? Sure, I guess that's all right.
And characters also have interactions as to like you taking their picture. You can also switch the camera out as a selfie mode, and Sora has a little gesturing thing. It's a little rudimentary compared to what other games have now as far as selfies. Especially like Spider-Man PS4's selfie game is really strong. But as far as like a basic selfie mechanic in the game, or like a way to take pictures in the game, this is really interesting, and I enjoy it. And there's also straight up just a share button, which if I press it, it'll bring up the PS4 UI, so I can just like upload it directly to my PS4 or to whatever social medias that I have. Shortcuts now have 3 separate menus, so instead of being stuck with 4 basic ones, there's 3 slots now, so you can have 12 whatevers. Also, if you go to your magic menu, it'll update to whatever is your whatever version of the spell you have is the strongest. So like fire became fire, Watera, Cura, right? But if you go to your customize menu and go to shortcuts, you can actually choose the weaker version. So you can still stick with like the basic fire. Maybe you just need it, and you know, because it takes up less MP to use. You know what I mean? Or maybe you want a weak version of fire and then follow it with a Fira or whatever. You know, whatever floats your boat. But it retains the weaker versions of all the spells, and I don't know how I'm gonna use that yet, but I do appreciate that exists. Also, I appreciate water as a spell. A lot of the spells have different properties to it. Blizzard is like well, it's part mobility, but also it freezes enemies. So similar to 0.2, you can ride the Blizzard rail in a straight line as far as it'll let you go. Fire is a basic projectile spell. Thunder is an AoE, which I think it always was. I can't remember. Not in Kingdom Hearts 1, I don't think so. Arrow is now, I wouldn't call it a projectile, but like you have it in front of you and you can ride it, you can jump into it and it'll float you up. Which is not the same as the original version of Arrow, which was the shield. That property is now put into Watera, which is a slow-moving homing projectile, but it also puts a shield around you. So I don't know if you saw that, but the water went around me first. It'll also hit enemies while you're if you're next to them. I also appreciate that you retain your momentum when you're casting spells. I thought I was going to have more of a problem with that, and honestly I'm not 100% used to it either, but it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I also just love how open the spaces are, and I really appreciate that this would have been a load screen. Like, this little hallway would not have existed in previous games. It would have just taken you directly to this room, right? And then this, and then maybe this hallway, and then it would be a load screen from here, and then it would just mitigate this area, and then you would just appear right here. I mean, it's just pretty seamless, and I like that there's little interactables here too, where if you hit this, it'll react to you, and maybe it might give you an item, or maybe money, or MP orbs. It depends, really. talking about mobility, I am glad that they retain flow motion, but I am also appreciative that they put some sort of limitation to it. So a lot of what people did was do wall runs, or sorry, wall jumps by jumping up onto a wall, jumping up into a wall, jumping up, and then hitting that same wall again. You can't stack that anymore. You can see that the light went away from Sora, which means that you can't do that thing again. So you're stuck with 1, 2, and that's it. But they do have wall running in certain areas. Also the enemies with a green circle are a chance for attraction flow. And those appear randomly, and you don't have to do it. And you can back out of these at any time that you want. And they don't take up any sort of resources at all. They just exist as a thing that you can do. Do I still have that? Oh. Your summon menu is now a link menu, and these don't take up drive gauge, they take up your MP. And the links act the same way as like all the different mechanics. So the links act the same way as these gauges, or whatever, like this one, where it'll just run out if you don't end up using it, but you can cancel out of it at any time, and it works the same way as attraction flow. So the fact that it's like 3 separate systems that have the same applications to it, basically. Also, just personally here, I like that you can go into Roz's office. I don't know why, I just thought that was neat. I can just be like, you lost your papers, Wazowski, or whatever the fuck. I just think personally that's cool. I also enjoy the fact that story-wise, I'm not going to talk about Kingdom Hearts story specifics, because I feel like that's going into spoiler territory, but it has been stated by them that before I get into that, I like that you can now transport to other save points in the area, which is similar to 0.2. actually. So I appreciate that, honestly. But speaking of story, so they stated before that they were trying to have original stories for the game to take place in. So, Toy Box, the Toy Story world takes place in, actually I feel like the music's a bit too loud. The Toy Story world takes place between Toy Story 1 and 2. So you could say that, or sorry, 2 and 3. So you could say that any number of things happened in the 10 years between Toy Story 2 and 3. And you couldn't say it was wrong. So it's like canonized that yes, at some point Buzz and Woody met Sora, Donald, and Goofy. And it doesn't hurt the canon in any way. So Monsters Inc. world takes place after the movie. I don't know if you noticed, we went into the scare floor a little bit, but there's like balloons. At this point, Sully is now CEO of Monsters Incorporated. Oh, I got that one. That too, for the hidden Mickeys, it tells you where it is and if it's in frame, and there's a little check mark that tells you that you already took a picture of it. That's cool. It's like they really thought a lot about what they were implementing in the game. And I enjoy the amount of care that they put into a lot of the different aspects of it. I wholeheartedly appreciate. Also, I like that, So fire enemies will be weak to water, or water enemies will be weak to fire, or maybe even freeze or whatever. I don't think they ever did that again until, other than Kingdom Hearts 1. I can't remember if it was in Kingdom Hearts 2. It might be, but I haven't played that game in like a year, so I don't remember. Oof. Let's see here. Can I show this off? So the shot lock makes a return in Kingdom Hearts 3, but additionally, I don't know if you noticed, but when I locked into that enemy, it had a little square on it, which means I could zoom right up to it and damn it, then deal melee attacks. And those don't take up any meter. That's just an ability that you have, and it's actually used for traversal. So if you see that guy where you really want to hit him, because he has the attraction flow thing, you could just zoom right up to him and hit him. By the way, you saw how that hyper hammer animation involved a lot of the claws spinning around and whatnot. Or sorry, the hammer spinning around and whatnot. Enemies get hit by that, actually. I don't think this is gonna hit anyone. And I feel like the combat might not be as complex as Kingdom Hearts 2 was, as far as like combo potential goes. But I do appreciate that they're trying certain things, but also being a bit simple about it. So there's a move you can unlock, which is basically a pop-up move. So like you start up a combo and you can knock the enemy in the air and follow it up with an air combo. There's also finishers with all of these Keyblade transformations, and there's an ability that you can use that will automatically use a finish command for you whenever you want. There's also an ability that you can install that will keep MP at 1, so that you always have a cure. Like it won't let you use any magic until you heal, or use a link ability. But I think you need full bars for a link ability, so I don't know if you can even use that. But these little like safety measures put into place for like new players as well, but also making the combat a bit complex. So that move, that is me just done by me pressing the attack button followed by the jump button. So it gives more experienced players potential for combos and whatnot, but it's still accessible enough for new players to interact with it. Oh, that's neat. I just hit everything in this room. I'm looking for the CDA agent. Again, there's just so many little things to do in this game that it's quite insane. Oh boy. Oh, and multiple of these activate now, and you can choose when to do them, and you can even choose which ones you want to do. And there's a little intro sequence that you can skip if it feels like it's taking too long, and these are usually very, very quick. Where's the...
Let's see.
I thought that was a person. I need a picture of a CDA agent. Oh, some Keyblades also have multiple transformations in them, which require you to perform combos to reach the second stage of. I gotta say though, the little wall running things for climbing, I feel it's a little bit intrusive in that in places where there's lots of places to climb, so places like place like Monsters Inc. probably not, because it's only just that one wall, but like Andy's room, it's a little I find a bit intrusive. I mean, maybe if you could like dim it a little bit, you know. I don't think the white color needs to be that opaque. I feel it could be a bit more transparent. But as far as story goes, I kind of started that sentence but never finished it. Sorry. The Disney worlds shine when the story takes place outside of the movies. The Tangled one was really pretty, and I know a lot of people will say they love the Tangled one. I like Tangled, but I feel like its interpretation in this game wasn't my favorite, in that it kind of required you to have seen the movie to figure out what's going on. The worlds take up a lot of time now. They're a lot longer than your average world in a Kingdom Hearts game. I know I meander through the games a lot, but I feel like each world is taking me like hours to beat. And the fact that it couldn't adequately summarize the events of Tangled in the amount of time it took me to play it is a little bit bizarre to me, because I feel like a lot happened during my time in the Kingdom of Corona other than the plot of the movie. And I feel like it could have. I feel like it could have summarized it a little bit better. There's just concepts of it. I don't know, if you play Kingdom Hearts and you've seen Tangled, go to the Tangled world and tell me, as someone that's, if you put yourself in the perspective of someone that hasn't seen the movie, and would you say that it was a good enough, would you say that it was a good enough summarization of the movie? Because I wouldn't say so. I feel like it runs into problems like what do you call it? There's a specific world that I'm thinking of in Kingdom Hearts 2 that was done pretty poorly. Like Mulan, I feel like was pretty poor. In that it just tried really hard to summarize the events of the movie, and it got a lot of its story beats off. Like, it just didn't feel the same way. Well, I don't know, I just trying to wonder where the CDA agent is. Oh, there he is.
Let's see.
The crane might come in handy if we need to get back up.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing. I showed it on my previous stream, and I kind of said my first thoughts on it. But the gummy ship being like its own kind of semi-open world thing is really interesting to me, and I like it a lot. I don't know what else to say, honestly. Other than the game so far is pretty great. So you see this photo is from this one is from the Olympus world, and he's still in his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit. The voice acting is really top notch. I like all the voice actors that they got to replace the movie stars that they couldn't get, except maybe Woody. Sorry, Jim Hanks. I know you're the one that does all of Woody's lines outside of the movies, because Tom Hanks doesn't do anything that's not the movies. But I don't know. Like, you could tell it's not Woody. So, some lines he does pretty well on, but I feel like most lines you could totally tell it's not Woody. It's just his intonation is not the same. That voice actor they got for Buzz, though, who is apparently not Tim Allen, and I was surprised to know it was not Tim Allen because it sounds like fucking Buzz. I think the voice actress they got for Rapunzel was whoever did Rapunzel in any subsequent Tangled media, which is not Mandy Moore, which I was not surprised about because Mandy Moore was in Kingdom Hearts 1 and she didn't come back, and that's why we got shitty Aerith for Kingdom Hearts 2. But so far everyone in the game sounds really good. Zachary Levi, I was surprised that he went back and did Flynn Rider. I don't know, everyone just sounds really great. I was kind of worried about Sora because he sounded kind of weird in 0.2.
Let's see.
Oh, the fire in the Secret Forge.
Let's see.
But I don't know. It just this game looks really good. It plays really nicely. I'm playing it on proud mode, and so far I'd say it's a challenge, but it's not an impossible. I feel like it could still be accessible to new players. You know, and speaking of that, not touching so much on the plot of this game, but I feel like it does a decent enough job of trying to explain things as it goes. But also, because if you try to cater so much to if you try to cater so much to catching up new fans, the old fans are going to be a little bit disappointed in how you're handling shit. In that, I hate it when like a piece of media that I know everyone that gives a shit about this cares or knows what is happening, trying so hard to cater to potential new audiences that they never get to adequately explain anything. You know, does that make sense what I'm trying to say? If this game kept trying to constantly explain everything to new players, us in the old player crowd would feel like you don't really think that this game's for us anymore. You'd be trying so hard to cater to new fans that you forgot what we're all about. And sometimes that's a palpable feeling. Sometimes you can totally feel it when a piece of media is trying really hard to cater to their potential new audiences instead of trying to appease the audience that stuck with them in the first place. And so far, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is adequately doing that. I feel like it's doing a good enough job of explaining concepts as it goes on, but also, hey, in case you forgot, this is what happened, or a really summarized version of it that's put into new context that you might not have seen or thought about before. And I wholeheartedly appreciate that. I don't know. It's just, the game's just so good. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, other than I can feel that, just seeing the Tangled world and the Frozen world. I haven't been in the Frozen world, but I do know that the plot of that is going to be taking place during the middle of the movie, and it's going to feel like every single time a Disney World is dropped into Kingdom Hearts, and instead of coming up with their own plot, they're just, let's just use the movie's plot. Because the movie's plot is so closed off that you can't really write any stories before or after that, but also include the characters in the movie. So you have to have the movie take place, you have to have the plot of the game take place during the movie. And it's just gonna be no matter how good it is, it's gonna be it's gonna be a poor interpretation of the movie, I feel. But look at Twilight Town, though. This place looks so lively, you know? It just looks really great. What else is there to say other than it looks good. I like that the characters talk. I enjoy them. I enjoy their little commentary sometimes. I enjoy how I don't know. It's just it very, like, some people have their own games that they've been waiting a while for, some game that they've stuck out with through the end. I know my brother is still really involved in, like, Halo. That's like his favorite thing. And the fact that I'm getting my own version of that now, in that it's a series that I've waited a long time to come out with the next proper console installment for, you know? And it's finally here, and it's great, and it feels good that it's great. Because I was so worried that I was going to play this and it'd be like, it plays like shit. And I don't like it, you know? That's what I was really worried about. But so far, it's going good. I'm going to withhold final judgment until I'm done with the game. But my friend, who was with me during the stream, my friend Fernando pointed something out to me where it was like, no matter how good or bad the game is, you know, you're going to love it. And he's right. Honestly, I love this series so much that, not that I'm willing to withhold, or, like, what am I trying to say here? Not that I'm willing to put my own feelings aside, or, sorry, what am I trying to say here? Not to say that, I'm gonna let my own feelings cloud my judgment on the game. If the game ends poorly, then I'm gonna say that objectively the game ends poorly. But in my own heart, the fact that this is just a celebration of Disney, and, you know, just the main concept of connections you have with other people, just the theme of friendship and connections with other people. I like it, and I love it, and I love how it looks, and it's just it's out, it's here, and I never thought it would be here. The fact that I got it in my hand was such a, I don't know. It was such an it was pretty cool. Honestly, I don't know. I'm a little bit speechless. And you watch back that stream, and it doesn't seem like I'm too excited, but that's my reaction to things. It's just not that I'm quiet out of a lack of, like, it's not that I'm quiet as a lack of, like, surprise or happiness sort of thing. It's just that I'm trying to take in everything, and I need I need my senses to be focused on what I'm looking at. I just needed to visually register it. I couldn't make witty commentary on it. But yeah, that summarizes my experience with Kingdom Hearts 3 so far. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and hit up the next world. Um, I might do a little stream like this again towards the end of the game, or maybe after, once I'm finished with the game, just so that my final thoughts are put up on stream. But that's it for me. Thanks for indulging me. Maybe next time I'll show you something a little bit more interesting than me taking photos of things and walking around the worlds. And maybe I'll figure some other things out, as in like mechanics wise. I know I kind of went into a ramble up there, but it's literally just things that I thought were really cool. So that's it. Hope you all had a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time. Before I go though, I will be finishing up RE2 someday. So that's not a dropped series. I'm gonna be going back and playing that again. I am 100% aware that I just stopped playing that entirely because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, but you have to understand, I've been waiting for this game for 6 years. So that's it. Yeah, that's all. Have a lovely day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.